What's up, YouTube, man? We're finally back out on the range, and been out here a good while this morning, just playing with some ARs, had some folks over, a little family day out on the range. Now we're going to settle down and see if we can get this video in before the rain comes. You probably hear it thunder in the background. It's not looking too good, but we're not going to let that dampen our spirits. We got some Plinking loads worked up, and we're going to see if we can get them over to Chronograph and decide on, nail down a good Plinking load, something that I can load every night, and I won't have to review my dope every night. Something that roughly mimics the Winchester white box. We talked about that last time, and that's really where I'm going. Looking for about 1,150 to 1,200 feet a second, and we're going to get the range set up, and we'll jump right in it. See you in a minute. Okay, folks, just to reconfirm, what we're going to do is we're going to shoot 4.7, 4.8, 4.9, and 50 grains of unique, pushing 124 grain full metal jacket bullet out of my 9mm. It's a 4.1 or 4.25 inch Smith and Wesson M&P 2.0. I think that's all the particulars. We're shooting out about 20 yards. Well, exactly 20 yards. And we're going to see how they perform over the chronograph, and if I can keep them on paper, something that I can be happy plinking with. And got the range set, so here we go. Alright, we're back from the range, and it was a long day out on the range. Shooting the 9mm reloads was really one of the smallest portions of what we did tonight, or today. And I kind of had to rush it right at the end because the rain was coming in, and I actually ended up getting a little bit wet putting my gear away. But we found something today, or I did, that really is fascinating in the reloading world for me. And it only intrigues me more than the fascination that I already had. And here's what I found. At the end of the last video, I thought we had plateaued and hit what is sometimes referred to as a node, or a place in a load development where you don't get any real linear increase in velocity versus the powder charge. Well, in this case, we started back where just below where we had ended at 4.7 and worked our way up in 1/10 of a grain increments to 5.0, which is the top powder charge that I found on published data. Now, I know there are guys online on forums that shoot unique lots hotter than 5.0, but 4.7, 4.8, 4.9, and 5.0 is what we shot. And what I found was the 4.7 grain load actually produced the highest average velocity over a 5-shot string at just a shade over 1100, which is a little faster than our first test, but not enough that it gives me concern that my loading is improper. So that really confused me. How can it be that 4 grains makes effectively no difference? The difference in 4.7 and 5.0 was 4 feet per second, and 4.7 was actually faster by 4 feet per second than 5.0. That makes no sense to me. How can you have more powder and lower velocities? Well, so I called up somebody that knows a lot more than I do. We're working on some ideas to get him on the show. Technology, as many of you have surmised already, is not my strong suit. It's not his either, but reloading is his. And he's helping me a lot. So one of the things that we discussed a lot tonight was the crimp that I'm putting on these bullets. And I'm putting a very minimal crimp. So I will post again in the data form like I did last time, which a lot of people seem to like, up on the screen, the load or the velocity information for those 5 strings. So what we discussed was how that crimp holds that bullet ever so slightly tighter, forcing a increase in pressure. So all of my crimps are already set, and I just leave that as it is. So what I intend to do is, I think everybody already seen at this point the performance of the gun. Again, it is a stock Smith and Wesson M&P 2.0 4¼ inch barrel. Nothing that any of you might not carry, you might not target practice with, you might not keep on your nightstand. Pretty standard gun. I really like it. It's of my pistols, and I have a few. It is one of my favorites, if not my favorite. I enjoy carrying it. I carry it outside the waistband, and I feel very comfortable when I'm in otherwise uncomfortable situations, knowing that I've got that gun because it's very accurate for me, and it's got a lot of firepower. But what I just could not get over, how can a more powder produce less velocity? So Scott said that one of the things that may be hindering that that velocity increase is the lack of crimp. Now, I do crimp these bullets, but it's ever so slight. So I think what we need to do is increase that crimp ever so slightly, maybe 1,000. Now, I had hoped that this would actually be the last 9mm video. It's clearly not. I'm enjoying the mental aspect, the fact that I'm having to learn. It's really pushing me, and it's opening up new ideas into reloading that I had never really considered. And one of those ideas is, why am I reloading? And that's obvious from the beginning of the series, and that is I want to produce quality ammunition at a better, or at least the same price that I could buy it off the shelves. Because I don't want to be hampered by what the market swings might look like so much. Plus, I like knowing how to do things. And one of the reasons that I'm a little slow in getting this video out is because I've been doing other things. We've been wanting a place to do some barbecuing, other than my grill just out on the ground. And I like to have folks over every once in a while. I do enjoy being social, and I like to have a drink every once in a while. So I built myself a nice 12 by 12 deck out under some old shade trees here on my property. So that took me away from you for a little while. I hope you'll forgive me. But I like knowing how to make this ammunition. It gives me tremendous insight into what's going on in the gun. And this is one of those additional insights. And that is, where is the line where I stop getting a tangible benefit from pushing a load faster, other than knowing how to do it, especially as a training load. Now, if we were producing personal defense ammunition, obviously velocity plays a factor, but I don't think we're ever going to be able to push it fast enough that it's going to make an incredible difference. According to federal ammunition scientists, you really need to break that 2,000 foot per second barrier to do the type of damage that a rifle could from a terminal velocity kind of thing. So we're never really going to get there. So why am I chasing 50 extra feet? Part of it's just the fact that, why do you climb a mountain? Because you can. And chasing that extra velocity does give me a tremendous amount of insight. But am I burning powder for no good reason? Could I save that same amount of money and put it in to other components, other guns, training? Who doesn't need training? I certainly do, and I'm always looking for opportunity to do that. Drew, man, I'm sorry I can't get out there with you, but we discussed why, and I hope that rectifies itself very soon. At any rate, instead of continuing to jam powder in the case, what I'm going to do is go back over these same 4 loads, now that we've got 2 sets of data to work with, and we're going to increase that crimp a little bit, maybe 1,000, maybe a slight bit more. I don't want to go too much. And we're going to see if our pressure, which allegedly will climb very rapidly with the crimp situation. And I did not notice any pressure danger signs in my casings tonight. So even at 5.0, I didn't see any bulging primers or anything like that. So I'm not scared to put more powder in there. But at what am I hoping to find? And I don't think I'm going to get anything. If I'm looking for that extra velocity, 4 sets of data or 4 loads over 2 sets of data show I'm not really climbing anymore. I've kind of peaked out. So let's tighten that crimp a little bit, and we can go over that if anybody wants to. How to do that? We'll tighten that crimp 1,000, maybe a little more, and see if the same powder charges yield us better velocities given the fact that we didn't change the powder. All we did was change the crimp. So we're going to try to keep that as our variable and see if we get that that little bit faster speed. Now, a couple things on the channel. I think one of the things that I had hoped to do when I started was largely keep politics out of what I talk about. And I don't know if I can do that anymore. Now, and here's why. It's clear to me at this point, having done 15 or so videos, that YouTube has a strong bias against right-wing leaning content, especially 2A content. Most of the big gun channels, I think they're all demonetized. So those guys that are content creators that put just as much work into their videos, spend just as much of their personal money making those videos for information purposes, they are not allowed to earn any money that YouTube would pay other content creators. For example, people that might cook, or people that might do travel vlogs. All of those people are eligible for that incentive that YouTube pays back, but not gun guys. And I know my channel, it has that many views, so I'm not eligible anyway under their basic guidelines. But if they're already going to demonetize me, if I had another 1,000 viewers and they're already going to demonetize me because I dare to show black guns and discuss the evils of the Second Amendment, why shouldn't I also discuss what I believe to be an intrinsic part of this nation, and that is the Constitution? And the reason that I bring this up tonight is I had a young lady in my life who's very special to me, and brilliant mind, way smarter than I am. She sent me a handwritten card, which I always appreciate. I mean, that takes a lot of effort. It's not like an email or a text. It actually takes effort. And she put that effort into writing me a card, and she sent me a news article. That's right, actual old school news article about how the Chief Justice ducks on gun rights. And she asked me to discuss it on this channel. And that's not something I'm prepared to do tonight, but something I definitely do want to get into. So I hope everybody will hang around for those kinds of things. The 6 guys that have been intricate or integral to this whole production, we're going to do some interviews with them. And what I want to do with those guys is basically introduce them to the channel, give you a little bit of their backgrounds, and show how diverse the gun world is. It's not all 50-year-old white guys that grew up in the Deep South. Trust me, it's not. And, I hope that offers some of my viewers the freedom to say, damn right, I'm a gun person too. I might be a college student, or I might be, a grandmom. But guns are okay, and because what's a bigger equality tool than a gun? There is none, in my opinion. That being said, we are going to discuss some politics. I am going to introduce you to the people that have made this possible. I do not have enough viewers right now that YouTube will allow me to go live stream, and that's okay. Again, I'm no technology guru, but I think we found some workarounds. We're going to do some video interviews, so hope you'll stick around for that. And as this load development thing goes forward, I hope everybody's getting something out of it. If you do, I love comments. I got a great comment earlier this past week asking about load data and my thoughts on published load data. And basically my suggestion is don't go outside of published load data until you understand certainly more than I know. Although I feel like with Scott's help, my learning curve's pretty much vertical at this point. So I'm learning a lot, and I really appreciate everybody sticking around, spending some time with us every week, and I hope you're getting something out of it. Take a moment, if you will, reach down there, hit some likes and subscribes. Love to know that new viewers are watching. Don't ever hesitate to ask a question. I really get excited about questions and comments. And if I can't answer it in a confident manner, I'll find somebody that can. I really appreciate all the comments that we've had, especially this week, which has been really active for comments. So, again, keep those things coming in. And if you'll stick around, we'll see you on the next one.